Good morning. This is day 5 of the Maritimes Newfoundland trip. We're headed out of Moncton today. We're going to do a couple of things on the way to Halifax, Nova Scotia. That is our end destination. Our first stop is going to be the Hopewell Rocks, which is not too far from Moncton, about 45 minutes or so. And it's a good place to go and see the power and majesty of the Fundy tides. The Bay of Fundy is primarily between New Brunswick and Nova Scotia and experiences the highest tides recorded in the world. The tides at the Hopewell Rocks they peak at 46 feet between high and low tide. So we're just heading out here. We have to cut through some of the suburbs of Moncton to get to the highway that heads out towards the Bay of Fundy. It's actually on Shepady Bay. Shepady Bay is just off of the Bay of Fundy. This video is sped up a bit, obviously. We're going to go through a rotary here. It's what they call traffic circles here, just like they do in the Boston, Massachusetts area. And now we're going to cross the Petitcodiac River. This river has a tide. You can see it's very muddy right now because it's at low tide. And there is a tidal bore that comes upriver here from the Bay of Fundy. It is apparently a total bore. I know I went to watch it with a group one time and it was barely a ripple. But basically what happens is the tide comes upriver in a wave. And it used to be quite large, but they built a causeway and that's really affected what happens there now. So this is the highway. This is Highway 114 in New Brunswick. And it goes down through some of the small towns and heads out to the Bay of Fundy coast. You can continue along this highway through Bay of Fundy National Park and end up in St. John, New Brunswick. But we're just going to stop here at the Hopewell Rocks. This is a provincial park. It originally was privately owned and operated, and the province took it over and added to the development of it. We have a guided tour here today, so we're going to go first up to the visitor center and have a washroom break, look at the gift shop, and then our guided tour will begin. You just saw there in that previous video as we turned, you saw the bay just out in the distance there, and we're going to end up down eventually right by the top of the viewing platform at the Hopewell Rocks. So we're pulling into the visitor center here. You can maybe see it there straight ahead. Buses go this way. And we're going to drop the group off actually right at the front door. The tour director will get off first and she'll go and check us in, and then we'll pull up, drop off the people, and then I will park for a little while we do our first part of the visit. Then we'll hop back on the bus and go down to the viewing area. And I'll show you actually what's down there once we get down. The visitor center here is very nice. Lots of very informative videos and all sorts of interesting information. The reason the tides are so high here at the Bay of Fundy has to do with the shape of the bay itself. It's about 62 miles wide at the mouth, and here you're looking at maybe 4 miles wide here in Shepady Bay. And so it narrows down quite significantly. Plus, it's also going from deep, about 700 or so feet deep at the mouth, and here it's maybe 40 feet deep out in the middle in this area where the rocks are. So it's the shape of the bay, the shape like a funnel, that forces the water. The water comes in from the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, and it's just getting forced into a tighter and tighter and tighter spot until you get high tides instead of the 4-foot tides that most places see on average you're getting 46-foot tide here. This area off to our left is an area where the Acadians, the original French people that settled in this area, they had a way that they could block off the tide, and they actually grew some of their hay for their animals on these flats. I don't know if you just heard that, but in the background you may have just heard a ship's horn, because I'm in Halifax recording this right now, and there's a cruise ship in the cruise dock right behind my hotel, and I'm guessing it's getting ready to go. It's the MS Mazdam from the Holland America line, and it was actually in Quebec City while we were there, and it's now here, but getting ready to leave. Anyways, if you didn't hear it, well, now you're confused as heck, but if you did, that's what it was. So in the next clip, right here, this is the Hopewell Rocks. You can see them, those things that look like a mushroom. When the tide is in, the water comes right up to the bottom of those mushroom-like heads. Anyways, we've left the Hopewell Rocks, we've had our lunch, and now we're heading back. We have to head back up to Moncton. There's no way other than a ferry to cross the Bay of Fundy. So we have to head back up to Moncton. So you can see some of the views here as we're driving along. Bay of Fundy off to our right. Actually, again, it's actually Shepady Bay. We're not far enough down to be out in the Bay of Fundy proper, but we're headed back up to Moncton, and then we're going to get on the highway and head towards Halifax. But we're making a stop first right at the border for a brief picture stop and to get some maps. So here we are. We're just about to cross from New Brunswick into Nova Scotia. You can see all the windmills in the distance. Actually, another interesting thing that we just passed that I thought I had on video, but I guess I must have not hit the button, is the shortwave station in this area, just at Sackville, New Brunswick. If you are overseas and you're listening to CBC radio on shortwave, it's broadcast from just outside of Sackville, New Brunswick. There's a huge shortwave broadcasting station there. Here comes the border. You can see the flags on our left. On this side are 3 flags of New Brunswick. We cross this river, kabunk, and 3 flags of Nova Scotia. Now we're in Nova Scotia. And you can see the sign and the lighthouse here on the right. That's where we're going to take. We can park right in behind it, and the people can take pictures there. It's also the entrance to a scale for the trucks. So if you're a truck driver, you've probably gotten off here before when the scales are open. The buses do not have to scale in Nova Scotia or New Brunswick. In fact, in Canada, the only place I'm sure we have to go into the scale is in BC. So now we're off to another stop. This is in Springhill, Nova Scotia, and we're here for a couple of reasons. Number one, this is a coal mining area. And straight ahead of us, you can see that yellowish building is the Miners' Hall, and beside it is a monument to coal miners who have lost their lives in various tragedies in the coal mines in this area. But the main reason we're stopping here is because this is the hometown of the Canadian singer Anne Murray, and there is a museum and visitor center here dedicated to her, and that's where we're going. Apparently there was a fire here in the 1950s. That's why you're not seeing very many old buildings in this downtown. Everything is looking a bit more modern than what you might expect in an old coal mining town. And the Anne Murray Center is just down the hill here behind this building. See that right there on the right? We're going to turn here and then turn left in front of the visitor center. So we're going to spend about 45 minutes here. People can visit the Anne Murray Center, and they can visit Tim Hortons too. I know I certainly did. Anyways, we're going to have some driving video coming up here. We're going to go through the Cobequid Pass, and I'll just let you watch that, and I'll be back at you in a couple of moments. All right, I'm back, and we are crossing the McKay Bridge into Halifax. There's a beautiful view to the right of the Bedford Basin, and Halifax is off to the left. This is a major shipping port still today, and it is a naval yard and a shipbuilding area. In fact, the Newfoundland ferry that ran aground, the Blue Putties, that has kind of changed our schedule on our trip around a little bit so that I am not going with the group over to Newfoundland. I'm meeting them over there. The reason it's all changed around is because this ferry ran aground and is not running on the long ferry route, the ferry route to Argentia. So we are they're going over with another driver, and I will meet them in St. John's. I will go on the ferry coming back, but I'm flying over. And that is not at my cost. It's not at my company's cost. It's at the tour company's cost. Well, maybe Marine Atlantic should be paying for it. I don't know. We're going to take Barrington into the downtown, So we're just going to swing around here. We'll come back underneath the bridge and head through the shipbuilding and naval yards part of Halifax, which I'll probably get to show you on the driving tour video, which I will do when after we've done our driving tour. We'll be doing that tomorrow morning. So I will wait to show you all of that then. All we're doing is we're headed for the hotel. Because the hotel is in the city and there's a number of places for people to eat in the vicinity of the hotel, including the restaurants at the hotel, when I get to the hotel and we unload, I'm done. I don't have to worry too much about taking them any place tonight, which is kind of nice. Get a little break. And tomorrow I only work half a day as well. So this narrow part that you were just looking at is where the Halifax explosion occurred back in 1917, I believe it was. We'll cover that during our driving tour, I'm sure. So we're just getting on to Hollis Street. This is the street that our hotel is on. We've just gone past the Halifax Casino. The Marriott here on the left, that's the hotel I stayed at the last time I was in Halifax. That was 3 years ago now. We're just going to go across Hollis to the other end of downtown where our hotel is, the Westin Nova Scotian. It's attached to the Via Rail station and in fact was the CN Hotel in Halifax when it was built and is now part of the Westin chain. So I have to drop off on the side of the road right in front of the hotel here. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that. I thought there was actually a place for me to pull in at the hotel to get off the street, but no, this is our hotel, this big red brick building on the left. And so what I have to do here is I have to get turned around. So I decided a quick way to do that when I'm looking at the situation. Here I am sizing it up. Yep, I'm just going to turn around right here in the bus terminal. That seems to be a reasonable spot to turn around. I am, after all, driving a bus. While you're here, if you're looking straight out, you can see the container port is here. And right behind our hotel, there's the train station, the Via station. Right behind the Via station and our hotel is the port for the cruise lines and Pier 21, which is a museum dedicated to immigrants. Now here are the police. I wonder what's up. Well, I'm sure we'll find out in a couple of minutes. We're going to offload the people and get their bags out. And then I have to figure out where I'm going to park. Once I'm parked, I'm done for the night. I'll talk to you in the next clip. So we've unloaded everything at the hotel. There was some excitement there. I'm sure you'll see it in the video clip. The police, and then after I shut the video off, an ambulance arrived. There was a gentleman showed up in a taxi, bloody. The taxi driver wanted to take him to the hospital. He said, "No, take me to the hotel." He got to the hotel said, "No, we're calling the ambulance and the police." So we don't know what happened, but we ended up having to stay on the bus while they made sure everything was sorted out and there was nothing untoward going on. So to keep our passengers safe, they just stayed on the bus. And now all I'm doing is driving around the block. Because they have saved me a parking spot right in front of the hotel, right behind where I was dropped off. So that is good for me. Makes my life much simpler. So tomorrow is a full day in the Halifax area. We start off in the morning by going to Peggy's Cove for breakfast. We will see the world's most photographed lighthouse at Peggy's Cove. Here's the bus terminal and the train station. You already saw that when I turned around there. And right here in front of the hotel, I'm going to park. This is my parking spot. So they've told me. I just want to pull up a bit because there is a fire hydrant back there. Maybe I'll try and get my back end in a little bit closer to the curb. Parking on a curved spot is a little bit difficult sometimes. That's a bit better anyways. Go up to get away from the... There. Okay. I think I'm okay here. So, Peggy's Cove in the morning. Driving tour in the morning, and by 1 or maybe at the very latest 2 o'clock I will be done for the day. They have their free time. I actually will go and get fuel. I think my fuel level is I have 1/4 of a tank left, so tomorrow I think will be a good time to go get fuel. I want to try and have fuel for the driver that's taking over the following day, that night, to take them over to Newfoundland. I don't want to make it so that he feels like he has to rush to get fuel right away, so I want to leave fueling as late as possible. But that's a story for another time. Thanks for watching and have a good day.